continuing the tradition.
Here he goes. See you later. And he's got it. Touchdown! Touchdown!
ABC Sports Championship Television.
This ball game will boil down to three things. Number one, the team that hits the hardest and the longest, the team that starts the fastest, and the team is too damn smart to make mistakes.
You are looking live at the Horseshoe in Columbus, Ohio. Memories of Woody and Bo abound. Folks, this is Ohio State of Michigan. Only the names of the stars change. Number one for Michigan, Braylon Edwards. A year ago in Ann Arbor, caught 2 touchdown passes and propelled the Wolverines out to Pasadena. He's the leading target of freshman quarterback Chad Henne here today. He'll try to take them back. But for the Buckeyes, perhaps the most dangerous freshman in the land, number 7, Ted Ginn Jr. He's touched the ball 31 times, and he's scored 6 touchdowns. It is a beautiful November Saturday in Columbus as we welcome you to the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT. And with my partner, Gary Danielson, I'm Brent Musburger. You already know the stakes. If Michigan wins, they go back to Pasadena and the Rose Bowl. Should Ohio State win, well, that will erase a lot of bad, ugly moments for this football team this year. So, Gary, what do you put your finger on is the key guys in this game?
Well, not to go against Woody Hayes. I wouldn't attempt to do that. But, you know, in this football game, usually the hitting kind of equalizes out. I think the quarterbacks have to come through in this game. And we have young ones. Chad Henne, a true freshman. Troy Smith only starting his 5th game. Those 2 guys have to tip the balance. Now remember this, in the long history of this game, no true freshman at quarterback has ever won it. It's only the 4th time it's happened, but they're 0-3.
And one thing is for certain, folks. Ohio State is fired up and ready. Just listen.
For the last 12 days, controversy surrounding Maurice Clarett, a former player, and the allegations that he made have swirled around here in Columbus. I asked Coach Jim Tressel what sort of an effect, and if it was, a distraction to his team.
Our guys had to address it because they were asked that question, whether it be pre-last week's games or post-game last week and those kind of things. There's been a lot less this week, and it's hard to break people's focus from the Ohio State-Michigan game.
Indeed it is, and Jim Tressel's Buckeyes will handle the ball first here as Michigan won the coin toss. They will defer. Now the Big Ten, they have 7 bowl spots, and if you have 6 wins, then you've already qualified for a bowl. Michigan wants to go to Pasadena and represent the conference out there. Ohio State, even though they're under 500 in the Big Ten, they're at 6-4, and perhaps a win and upset would send them to, let's say, the Alamo Bowl in Texas. There has been a lot of discussion about that here locally. And of course, 2 other teams will head to Florida for the Big Ten. They'll go to Orlando. They'll go to Tampa. Both Northwestern and Michigan State must win out, and we are underway here in Columbus, Ohio. It'll come out on the 20-yard line, and so Troy Smith, who took over for Justin Zwick midway through the season, only a sophomore. He was a teammate of Ginn's, played for Ted Ginn's father in high school in Cleveland. Here's our FedEx lineups. The ones we highlight are the seniors. This is their final matchup against Michigan, Maurice Hall and Brandon Joe. And the offensive line, only Mike Nee is playing in his final game here in the Horseshoe. The others will all be back. T.J. Downing draws a start. So the dangerous one, Ted Ginn. How will he be used here today by Tressel? They motion him out to the short side of the field. Hall is the corner matching up. They run in that direction. Out of bounds. but at the 28-yard line against this defense. And all three coming back for the Wolverines next year. Remember, the base is the 3-4. They'll switch out of it. Roy Manning will not be back next season for the Wolverines. In that secondary, Marlon Jackson, the great Marlon Jackson, is gone. Ernest Shazer probably will have a decision to make. So Marlon Jackson, number 3, and we will see how he is deployed defensively.
11.
Nice job by the referee that time. Ohio State had 12 men in the huddle, but he told them to delay, not to get the penalty.
Watson, they're watching him as they swing Joe wide, and Shazer, 25, over with the big hit, but it's still a first down.
Very interesting. If you're watching Ohio State football and you're surprised that they started the game with 4 wide receivers in shotgun, you shouldn't be. That is their #1 formation all year. If you look at Ohio State film, they've taken more snaps from 4 wide receivers shotgun than any other formation this season.
For Troy Smith. Under center, and a loss on that running play. Maurice Hall couldn't get it going, and we asked Troy Smith about what message he wanted to send to this Michigan defense early.
We're going to fight. We're going to play throughout the whole game. We're not going to give up. You know, we're going to be here. This is our home stadium. You know, this is the Horseshoe. This is what we do every Saturday when we get a chance to play in the Horseshoe, is compete, and play as a team.
2nd down and 12 after that loss on 1st down.
And Ginn is in that odd spot that Ohio State has come up with lately, where he's flanked real close to the formation where he can run or get out for a pass.
Gonzalez comes in motion through the formation, and Smith, off a play fake, can't find a receiver open, takes it on the move and throws it out of bounds and incomplete rather than take a loss on the play. And 3rd and long is coming up.
If you watch Troy Smith play, you can see the type of leadership he's brought to the field for this football team. It's kind of been his heart, his competitiveness, like he was talking about in that soundbite. That's what he's really brought to the table of this team. Justin Zwick's got a lot of skills, and he played early for Ohio State, but this Ohio State offense needed a lift, a competitive lift, and Troy has brought that to the team.
Santonio Holmes splits far out to the left side. Ginn is now over there in a short slot with Gonzalez outside of him. From the shotgun, Smith in the protected pocket. Could not find a receiver. Now goes downfield. Gonzalez got it. Touchdown. Buckeyes strike. Anthony Gonzalez, coming off his first start a week ago, 68 yards, and the offensive line did a superb job of giving Smith just enough time to get the ball off.
Just a 3-man rush for Michigan. 5, 6 Ohio State players blocking 3 from Michigan. That allowed Troy to stay in that pocket too long for Michigan. They can't allow 6 blockers to block 3 rushers. No one can cover that long.
Now it is Mike Nugent. Mr. Automatic holds 18 kicking records here. Tacks on another point. Take one more look here. And Smith with pressure closing in. Releases high. The underdog strikes first in Columbus. A 68-yard touchdown on 3rd and 12. Ohio State's first possession of the game. Michigan and freshman quarterback Chad Henne will now handle it for the first time, and we will see what Nugent does here with the kickoff into a little bit of a breeze into his face. You saw Breston standing back at the goal line hoping to get a return, coming off his best game of the season against Northwestern, scoring a couple of touchdowns, a couple hundred yards, all-purpose yardage, and he is the dangerous one as far as the Wolverines are concerned. Right at the goal line, it'll be Breston. And and he is down shy of the 15-yard line. Gary, let us go back now to that touchdown.
Remember, we're going to show you how long not only the protection held up, but how long Ernest Shazor had to cover deep. It's not just from when Troy throws the ball. While the ball's in the air, the defender has to defend. 8 seconds that secondary had to hold up for, 8.1 seconds. Going into this game, Brent, Ohio State was last in the Big Ten in third down conversions. They got a big one there.
Mike Hart is the running back behind Henney. And Henney to throw on first down, puts it in Braylon Edwards' hands, and he is shy of the 20-yard line. They're going to spot this one about the 17-yard line. So Henney trying to become the first true freshman quarterback to win an Ohio State-Michigan game. He's had a sensational season. As we check the FedEx lineup, Kevin Dudley and Braylon Edwards are the seniors among the skill players. As far as the offensive line is concerned, center David Moss, who is the anchor of that group. He's in his last Ohio State game.
Michigan's confused.
Here's Hart right straight ahead, plowing. You know his story, never stops driving those legs up toward that first down marker against this defense. Simon Frazier in his last game against the Wolverines. The linebackers, A.J. Hawk, just making his first stop of the game, and he'll be back next year. All three return. It's an outstanding trio. Only Dustin Fox, who is playing today. He's suffered some injuries this year, as has Nate Sally back in the defensive backfield, number 21. He is out there. And right away, the Wolverines went at Fox. The coaches said that they would test, they would see what they had out there in the secondary for the Buckeyes. Then they would decide if there was someone that they could go at. You can see the measurement right there. Our referee signaling that it is a first down. We've got an excellent crew here. Bill Lemonnier is your referee, and the umpire is Rick Nelson.
Told you Michigan was a little confused. Chad Henne twice tries to put his wide receiver in motion, once with his heel and then with his hand. Neither time the receiver busted, and that's, fortunately, Michigan picks up the first down.
Massacoy is flexed off the line from that tight end spot. They'll throw out, flanker screen. They put it in Preston's hands for the first time, and he goes for 9 yards. And Anthony Schlegel, the transfer from the Air Force Academy out of Texas, comes over and makes the stop.
All year, I think Lloyd Carr has given orders to that offense to be very conservative early with a young quarterback, but you can't afford to do that and beat Ohio State. Michigan has been a slow starter behind in 8 of their football games this year, but you can see a first down pass to start the game and another pass already. They're turning it loose early.
Jermaine Gonzalez checks in as a wideout for the Wolverines. Dudley, the fullback, play fake. Henne quick to set. Throws high down the middle.
Braylon Edwards broke off his route on that one. Miscommunication. I thought it was going to be a stutter from Braylon, and so did Chad Henne. But Braylon broke it off to a square end, and miscommunication between Henne and Braylon on that play.
Let's check in with Jack down below.
Well, Brent, early in the week, the freshman Chad Henne, when asked by the media what he thought about playing in the horseshoe, he said, I think it's going to be fun. Well, during the pregame warm-ups, his position coach, Scott Loeffler, kept telling him, remember, be calm. Remember, pretend you're at home. This crowd is jacked up, guys.
On 3rd and 1, and a penalty flag comes flying, and so now it will be a much tougher play as far as the Wolverines are concerned. Tyler Ecker had come in from the sideline, and he may have been the one who moved on this play.
Sure did. Flinched tight end away from the play.
Prior to the snap, false start offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
As a result, the Buckeyes go to the nickel look with Dante Whitner, who also has been injured, checking into that secondary. He's a sophomore out of Cleveland, Ohio. He's number 9. Now 3rd down for Henne, but 6 yards needed here. Quick set, Complete to Braylon Edwards, and Edwards crosses the 40-yard line, picks up the first down for the Wolverines. Dustin Fox is the defender. 16 more yards, Henne to Edwards.
Watch the weave between the receivers. Avon and Preston cross each other. A great read by Chad Henne. You look at the box. There's 3 defenders covering 2 guys. You see which one gets the double coverage. You throw the single covered guy. Chad Henne continues to make the right decision on 3rd down. 44% for the year for Chad Henne. See Braylon still telling what happened on 2nd down.
Dudley, the fullback, is split. There's confusion. Henne's going to call a timeout, and they will go over to the sideline. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American Revolution. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help. Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. And AOL for broadband, proud sponsor of 1st and 10, which is what the Wolverines face right now after the timeout against this Buckeye defense, which will try to protect the 7-point lead here in the early going. The Wolverines come out with their run personnel again. They motion out of the backfield, and Henne throws the screen pass, and Hart's got it on the near side. Still free before he is finally pushed out of bounds by Hawk, who is in hot pursuit. So A.J. Hawk, but it's a 38-yard gain for the Wolverines.
Watch the 325-pound center, David Boss, the senior, lead the one-handed catch by Hart. Watch Boss run now. Go, big guy. Go. He gets nailed. Safety comes up and hits him on the play. Nate Sally. But wow, 325 pounds just rolling down that sideline.
Boss brings the offense out. Wolverines are in the red zone. And he fires complete. And Edwards is to the 5-yard line for a 1st and 10. Stop made by Everett. And speaking of Boss, this is the advice he gave to the young fellas on the Michigan team about this game.
Ohio State, and you know they're going to bring their best game. Plus you have to handle the crowd noise, and it is very loud down there. You just have to be, composed and just play your game and not act like a young guy.
They've scored 15 touchdowns, which is not among the elite of the Big Ten. But this right at the moment is their most important trip to the red zone. And Hart driving to the 4-yard line before the Buckeye defense gangs up on him. And this would be a very calming effect on this football team. This would settle a lot of Wolverine nerves if they can respond immediately to that 68-yard touchdown by the Buckeyes, which has Ohio State ahead here 7-0.
Brett, Chad Henne is on fire with decision making. He has made the correct throw every time in this football game.
Hart is offset to the right. Massacoy, the tight end, flexed there. Henne with a roll right, fires end zone, touchdown Avant.
Wow.
And the Wolverines are an extra point away from tying this football game. And we are just in the opening minutes. So Avant from Chicago working the back of that end zone out of Carver High School.
Watch this. It's going to be a 2-man pattern out here. There's a safety in the backside. This could not be laid out here. It had to be on the roll by Henne. Fired in there. Watch this. There's a safety ready right there. It could have got it, but didn't get it in time.
And Garrett Rivas has tied the game. Still 10:25 to go. Lloyd Carr and the Wolverines bounce right back. Get into the game with Enhanced TV. Play along. Get up to the minute stats. Vote in polls. Enhanced TV is live now at ESPN.com. There is Avant.
Boy, is he steady, isn't he? Isn't he steady football player? Just makes plays, doesn't force anything.
Santonio Holmes, one of the deep men for the Buckeyes. Maurice Hall also back at the goal line. Nienberg to kick it off. Take a knee, Santonio says, and it'll come out on the 20, and we go back to the Avon touchdown.
Decision making and little things that quarterbacks have to do. Remember, this is only second down. He's got another down to waste. Chad Henne sees a little traffic but has an opportunity. He throws the ball high where just his guy can get it or no one can get it. If Avon doesn't catch this ball, no one catches this ball. That's smart quarterbacking, and that's why Chad Henne's been so successful. Only one interception, as Brent told you, in the last 100 passes coming into this football game.
Troy Smith lines up back in the shotgun, and Brandon Joe, the fullback, is in, along with that new look in the backfield. And they run the option with Smith keeping it all the way. Smith is lined up back in the gun, and they counter off that shotgun, and read perfectly by number 42, Lawrence Reed, the senior.
Well, let's talk about what both teams need to do to win this football game. It's pretty simple. Ohio State cannot let Hart get off on them. If he gets over 150 yards, Ohio State has no chance. Both teams need to pressure the quarterback. We've already seen the result of that. Michigan rushing 3 players. Troy Smith had all day. He hits them with a big one. And 3rd and longs. Both teams want to stay away from 3rd and longs. Already Ohio State has hit one big 3rd and long, a big play against the Michigan defense.
Now Pittman, number 25, will line up as a wingback. The running back is on the field. Troy Smith, the quarterback. 3 down linemen for the Wolverines. They rush 4 from the pocket. Fires complete, but well short of the first down. And that was Marlon Jackson, showing you why he is going to be a first-round draft choice coming up in the next NFL draft. Let's check in with Jack.
Brent, this is a rivalry that beats all rivalries. You know, most times scout teams will wear the colored jersey preparing, but if you're a Buckeye scout team player, all week you taped up your helmet to look exactly like the winged helmets of the Wolverines. Look underneath. There is the silver.
They use a lot of tape here this week, don't they? And now we'll see what Preston can do and see if the Wolverines and Henne can operate with good field position. Not a good punt. In fact, it's less than half a field. Down at the 41-yard line. Kyle Toronto, the punter, wants to do better than that. Braylon is split far out to the right. Now he comes in motion to be a slot guy. And they'll slip it into Preston's hands. And Preston is short of the 40-yard line. Picked up a couple of yards on first down. Ashton Ubodi, the sophomore from Klein, Texas, the defender.
Yeah, Ashton Ubodi got his chance to play this year when Dustin Fox was injured early in the year. Did such a good job that he's earned more playing time. And against these receivers in this football game, how this Michigan-Ohio State football game has changed now. It's 4 wide receivers. It's shotgun. It's throwing the ball all over the field. Not 3 yards in a cloud of dust anymore.
Here's Hart, lined up behind Henne. Big hole, and he gashed that Buckeye defense for a first down to the 30. And A.J. Hawk again having to come back. Everett there, but it's an 11-yard gain.
Don't you just feel that Michigan has the Ohio State defense off balance? They throw on first down, then they come back with the draw. You run it right in there. Reuben Riley, David Boss, keeping those linebackers thinking wide, thinking space, and then you gash with little number 20. They got it on a roll now, this Michigan offense.
Gonzalez and Edwards are off to the right. Preston's at the bottom of your screen. Henne under pressure through behind the running back Hart, who had slipped out that time. Now our performance track today going to measure 2 pretty dangerous speedsters, Gary.
Well, you're right. Ted Ginn has really changed Ohio State. We watched him early in the year, watched him practice, said, who's that guy, right, Brent? And
yes.
Boy, we now know who that guy is. Ted Ginn, number 7. And, you know, you said that Steve Breastman had his best game last week against Northwestern. The reason he is Steve is finally healthy. Last week and this week is the first time all year that Preston has been 100% or 99. He's still got that bad finger.
Having it taped up, he comes, a little bit of motion, bringing Fox in a little bit tighter, and now Fox drops off, and Henne looks right all the way. Goes to Gonzalez inside the 15-yard line to the 11-yard line for the first down on that pass play, with Tyler Everett but it's a 19-yard gain.
So simple. It's called the smash route. The outside guy will stop. The inside guy drives down a little bit. The quarterback makes this 3-on-2 decision. It's a blitz, so he knows exactly he's going to go to the outside with the ball. And on a 5-yard throw, they get 19 yards. Sooner or later, Ohio State's going to be forced to play man-to-man defense against these receivers.
Number 7 of Michigan doesn't look like a freshman. Hasn't all season long. Here's Hart. Another one of the freshmen drives it to the 1-yard line where it will be. It's going to be very close to that first down marker down there.
Watch Chris Dudley, number 32. Comes in here and gets a great block. This guy is a blocking machine. Finds his guy, unloads on his guy. He gets A.J. Hawk, the Big Ten's leading tackler, and knocks him off his feet. Dudley, who has never scored a touchdown, puts Michigan first and goal.
And will they use Dudley in this situation? Massaquoi over to the right. It'll be Hart behind Dudley, and he makes it to the end zone. Wolverines with their first lead.
Boy, that Michael Hart is an amazing football player. He reads things instantly. He cuts as soon as he sees it. There's no space. Dudley just followed number 32. He smashes. He gets Bobby Carpenter this time, but look at that reaction. You feel the heat. You turn a little bit. You make yourself skinny, and you fall into the end zone.
Here's Garrett Revis again. Adam Finley puts it down, and it's 7-point Michigan lead. 6 minutes remaining in the opening quarter, and the Wolverines have scored in their first 2 possessions. 6 minutes and 3 seconds, and now it is Jim Tressel who must play catch up with his offense.
You know, the lesson here is don't punt. You punt, you lose serve.
There's the scoring drive. Coming out. Maurice looking for an alley. Just shy of the 25-yard line. And Marlon Jackson, a great cornerback. We talked to him about what defense must do here to win the game.
I think the key thing for us is not giving up big plays. I mean, Ohio State's offense has been a big play offense, and we've given up a couple big plays the last 2 games, and we have to eliminate that.
But they did not early on, as the Buckeyes had a 68-yard scoring play on 3rd and 12. But they have yielded that lead, and now Smith is back out, and they're using the big back offense again. They put Smith up under center. They'll see if they can get some power football going here. Maurice Hall, and at the end of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund.
Michigan does not believe Ohio State can run the ball on them. They are keeping Shazor and Mundry, their 2 safeties, deep. They're playing 7 in the box, and they're daring Ohio State to try to run the ball on them. Shazor and Mundry are 12 yards deep in a Big Ten Ohio State football game. Look at this.
Brandon Joe directly behind Smith. He'll get the call to the 32, and it will be short of the first down, and this will be 3rd and short coming up for Joe and the Buckeyes.
So Ohio State offense has struggled all year, and if they don't get good field position, they struggle to move the length of the field. They had the big play earlier, but they've had trouble really driving the football all year against anyone.
Anthony Gonzalez, who scored the touchdown on that 68-yard pass play, checks in to the Smith huddle. Here's 3rd and 2. And the Wolverines, of course, must account for the Buckeye quarterback. Takes off, surrounded, and they do account for him. He's down at the 25-yard line.
Well, I don't quite understand. There was not even an option potential on that play. Ted Ginn was set up to be the pitch man, but this was just a quarterback run all the way. Michigan is not thinking any possibility of a pitch, and there's too much speed on that Michigan defense to just try to run your quarterback off tackle without a threat of an option.
Remember, Toronto's last punt was only for 21 yards, so he'll try it again. And Preston, fair catch signal at the 33-yard line. Sellout crowd on hand. Noisy to begin with, but much quieter now as the Wolverines have gone up by a touchdown. And this coverage is courtesy of the Goodyear Tire Rubber Company and its fleet of airships, reminding you to travel with peace of mind on Goodyear's new Assurance tires.
We were with Michigan last week when in the second half they got the ball 5 times against Northwestern and scored 5 straight times. They've started out in this game getting it twice and scored both times. They're 7 for 7 on possessions for touchdowns.
Edwards in motion. Henny will use Hart on first down to the 40-yard line, and this will be about 2nd and 4. And David Patterson from Warrensville Heights, Ohio, makes the stop.
There's so many things you can talk about with Michael Hart. Maybe one of the most amazing statistics as you look at this true freshman as he burst onto the scene. In the last 3 games, he's gained 582 yards, and he's lost 1 yard in Big Ten football.
Henny's hit incomplete, and he was drilled by the safety Tyler Everett on the blitz.
Well, that's what I think Ohio State has to do. I was calling for pressure on the young quarterbacks. I think as this game evolves, both coordinators will say we are not going to allow, as you see, the blitz come from the safety position right there. It's an overload. Actually, Michigan could have picked up this play. Henny did not misread it. Michigan busted the assignment blocking it, but you must put pressure on Henny. That's the only way to stop this passing game.
3rd down, Massacoy. The H-back look is off to the right. Henny, no pressure, sideline incomplete. Hawk had coverage over there, and the ball was thrown out of bounds. And I mean, the linebacker was all over Massacoy.
You're so right. A.J. Hawk, he gets a lot of pub for the tackles he makes, but he runs around that secondary and plays man-to-man coverage on this one. He's got Massacoy. Look at that coverage. Coming inside, there's no way, and he didn't panic. Did you see how he flipped his hands up in the air to show the official that he was not grabbing him? That was a wonderful play by A.J. Hawk, the All-American linebacker.
Now, Finley has been told to punt it high. Braylon Edwards is going to be used here today as one of the gunners for the Wolverines, and they don't put him in. Instead, they come down the field different. They use their safety. Shazer was one of the gunners, and this punt is going to be down inside the 5-yard line. You can't ask for anything better than that. So Coach DeBoard, working with the special teams, is going to change up with his gunners here today. Shazer is out there, and he also plans to use Braylon Edwards if they need him. But with a punt like that down inside the 5-yard line, it doesn't matter who's coming down on Ginn.
I think it's pretty good strategy. Keep the gunners fresh. Whoever you use out there, make sure he's ready to sprint, because Ginn gets the ball, he can turn it around.
Buckeyes are backed up. Brandon Joe, the fullback. Daylight to the 8-yard line.
Well, you can see Ohio State starting at the 1. Let's look all year at where they've started. When they get the ball backed up like this, look, only an 18% chance of them to score. Look how few times Ohio State has got the ball in the opponent's territory this year. That's unlike what's happened here the last 2 years when that defense carried this Buckeye team.
Second down and 4 for the Bucks. First down, and it is the big back look here today. It is number 38, Brandon Joe, the junior fullback from Westerville, Ohio. and right out of the tailback spot today.
Well, that offensive line has been maligned all year around here that they can't open holes, but coming off their own goal line to get a first down on 2 plays like that, you almost know if you don't get a first down when you're backed up, you're going to probably get at least a field goal try from the opposing team. That's a huge first down for the Ohio State football team.
Johnson is the fullback. Joe stays in that I-back spot. And this was Joe again, but nothing doing that time. But it was important out of that formation to have the coaches and the Michigan defensive players aware of that end around motion with number 7 Ginn. They brought him around on a fake, and obviously before this game is over, they're going to be handing it to him.
Absolutely. Doesn't have a touch yet, but sooner or later you know it's coming. That will set up the offense soon for Ted Ginn to get his touches that he needs.
2nd down and 10. Holmes will go out to the left. Gonzalez comes to the right. Keeping Ginn tight in the formation. And now on the move, throws complete. A 1st and 10 as they put him on the move, and Marlon Jackson has all over Ginn, and it was an electrifying performance by Ginn against Michigan State, in which he scored 3 different ways. As we take you back, there is that end around look and off the lateral for a touchdown. There was the punt return against the Spartans, then the quick slant, and 3 of his 6 touchdowns this year. So dangerous, and a first down out at the 35-yard line for number 7 now. That's his first catch, and it's for 17 yards. They run. The quarterback trying to get the corner, and he made the most of it. He was cut off, but he still managed to pick up 2-3 years. And we'll take you back on what Ginn has accomplished here today, and you can see the limited number of touches as they've been trying to devise ways to get the ball into his hands. And of course, while they're struggling with the passing game here at Gary, it is somewhat difficult.
Well, 31 touches. Remember, this guy hasn't played all year. It's only the 2nd half of the year that he's really started to see action. 31 touches, the number of touchdowns he has, that's impressive. You know, Santonio Holmes down here, this guy can fly too. They got 2 of them.
Last play of the quarter. Running it right straight ahead with Lydell Ross, who's out of the doghouse as we come to the end of the first quarter. Ohio State striking first, a 68-yard touchdown, but Michigan quickly responding. Avon. And we'll be back with the second quarter after this message and a word from our ABC station. 3rd and 4 for Ohio State. This drive started on their own 1-yard line. They brought it out to the 41-yard line. Troy Smith, the quarterback, again handled the ball once. Santonio Holmes goes out now to the right side. Brandon Joe has been the workhorse running back as the Buckeyes have decided to come with a big back attack against this Michigan front. Smith got 1-on-1, caught by Holmes. First down at the 25-yard line. A beautiful one-on-one throw that time by Troy Smith, who put it right on the hands for 34 yards.
Right off the line of scrimmage. Marlon Jackson did not get his hands on Antonio. Once he got by him in a perfect throw, there's nothing Marlon Jackson could do to stop that play.
There's Santonio out of Belgrade, Florida, down in Palm Beach County. Awful lot of good football talent down in that part of the world. A lot of them stay down in Miami, go to Florida, Florida State. But in the Big Ten, they'll come down there and cherry pick like a lot of other schools. First down and 10. Smith is in the gun again. There's that quarterback inside shot, incomplete pass. That's an incomplete pass, and Smith shouldn't go diving in there like that.
He threw it.
He's got to learn. Exactly.
Well, Lamar Woodley made a great play right here. Number 56 is playing the option and the shuffle ball. Watch him get in there and get his hand on it, and then Troy kind of panics. Oh, my gosh.
He thought, hey, maybe it's a fumble, maybe it's a loose ball. But Woodley has come on very, very nicely at that stand-up linebacking spot as Jim Herman, his base defense, went to 3-4. Frequently they rush him, and there's the workhorse back, number 38 for the Buckeyes.
And that's why I think he's in there too, to handle those big outside linebackers from Michigan, especially Woodley.
Carried the ball 6 times already for 31 yards in this game. Here's Smith getting time. Pump fake. Now he'll take off. 20, 15, steps out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Nicely done by Troy Smith.
Boy, that element that he adds right there. Michigan's secondary does a nice job. Gets a little pressure. We talked about Brandon Joe having to stand up and be the blocker on that side. But he gets in there and puts Ohio State into the red zone against Michigan. You can see it, not too good. And look at that. 13 trips in 10 football games for Ohio State.
First down for Trustle's offense.
I would assume it's Penn State that's 11th.
Smith back in the gun. Big running back empties that backfield. The offensive line against this front has been holding up. Quarterback draw all the way. And Smith picks his way close to the 6-yard line.
Yeah, he followed number 72, big T.J. Dunning that time on that quarterback draw. Emptied the backfield, forced Michigan to spread out and cover a lot of people. You know, you got to assume that Jim Tressel watched that Michigan State football game when Drew Stanton put over 500 yards on this Michigan defense by spreading them out. And you see a lot of those plays in the Ohio State offense here today against Michigan.
Brandon Schnitger checks in. He's the 250-pound lead blocking back with a second down. So here come the Bulls. Still moving the pile. Close to the 1-yard line. Brandon Joe becoming the workhorse. They've gone to that 2 fullback Woody Hayes approach, and wouldn't the grand old coach here be happy with this attack?
Look at this drive. This is where they started the drive, right where the football is now. The quarter ended, and they're back where they started the drive in the same exact spot 99 yards later.
They may have picked up a first down. They're going to bring the chains out.
You know, a push forward like that by a running back can really electrify your football team. It's like we're out muscling these guys. We're showing them who's tougher. And on a run like that, that's when a running back can really turn a team on.
So the Tressel strategy to use Brandon Joe to get Troy Smith ready out of that shotgun. Different looking formations with Ginn. Over the last few weeks, what Ohio State's been preparing for, yes, they cared about the next game on Saturday, but they were truly looking ahead to this confrontation with Michigan. And they now have it 3rd and inches.
The addition of Smith and Ginn has electrified this football team.
Smith steps into the end zone, dives in. They're waiting for the signal. There it is. 99 yards, the length of this drive.
That's as good as it gets for an offense. You push it out of your own shadow, your own goal line. You hit a big 3rd down play against their All-American corner. Your quarterback scrambles. It doesn't get any better than that for the Buckeyes.
Mr. Automatic, whose brother Kevin Nugent won a big soccer game for Ohio State last night. And so Nugent's extra point has tied the game as Smith over the top for 6. It's 14-all. Here's a look at the Pontiac High Performance Drive summary, and this is a high performance drive. 99 yards, 4.5 minutes. Troy Smith, the quarterback, leading them down, and our score is tied.
That's an overnight stay, 99 yards in Columbus. You got to find a motel along the way. 9 yards.
So here's Nugent. breeze at his back. The older brother drives it in. Let's take you back to last night. Let's watch Kevin Nugent here. He's in the white, wearing number 14. This was the NCAA soccer tournament, 27th minute. And the Buckeyes made that goal stand up for a 1-0 victory. And next for Kevin Nugent and the Buckeyes, they will play Notre Dame at 7 o'clock Tuesday. The Irish, a 5 seed. And Mike couldn't go to the game last night. He was locked up with the team, and he couldn't wait for the call from the family. His mom, I met her down in the stands before the game. Just a lovely family, a couple of daughters, older daughters, both of whom also were athletes. A-Band in motion, and the Wolverines and the Buckeyes are deadlocked. And Henne on the money, and A.J. Hawk. I've got to tell you, I've always been impressed with Hawk in defending the run. But he has been all over receivers here today. Number 47, Gary, is just a wonderful linebacker.
He is. He's athletic. You know, in high school, he's one of those type of guys that played offense and defense, and he's comfortable in space. You will make more money by playing in one of these games, auditioning for the NFL. And I know he doesn't care about that. I'm just saying from a way to look at a player by being able to move in space than stop a running game.
He will be back here next year. He's a young one. Second down. His heart into the middle of, well, Oklahoma with a big game against Baylor. Now, John, it's more of a beauty contest as much as winning the game. And we noted that Oklahoma was a 34-point favorite. That will be a measuring stick used. And the Sooners have just scored, we are told, from New York. So, John, thanks for that. And they figured to make it 21. They fumble the snap. Dove back in on it. He and Boss mishandle it. And the Wolverines recover. You saw the very quick reaction in watching Henne, Gary. The one thing that I'm impressed by, the quickness of his feet, and the way he reacts to situations.
Tremendous athlete. Dustin Fox, Brent, the senior corner for Ohio State, timed up the snap count that time, and I think threw Michigan off their snap count and really confused them on that play. Holmes and Ginn are back deep.
They have both of them back. The Wolverines have instructed Finley, don't worry about distance, try to give us some hang time so we can get down the field with coverage. And there they force Ginn to make a fair catch. So Finley is having a fine game from a Wolverine perspective here. We're deadlocked in Columbus. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Pontiac and the first ever G6, the next official performance machine of the NCAA. Miller, there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. Aflac, ask about it at work. And AOL for Broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10, which is what the Buckeyes have here in the annual battle between Michigan and Ohio State. We are tied at 14. We've had probably more offense than a lot of folks expected. We've already had over 300 yards combined between these two teams. And Smith, who's been doing very well, takes off now for the Buckeyes and has another first down. So Troy Smith coming alive in his first game against Michigan.
Boy, it's key when he makes a decision. The reason Troy Smith is playing so well now, we saw him against Penn State a few weeks ago, was when he makes a decision, he makes a decision and goes. Watch this. Nobody open. Find a lane. Nice protection. Find a lane. Watch him drop Ernest Shazer to the left right there. Shazer just falls down. Or was that Pierre Woods? Number 98. It was number 99, Pierre Woods. He is making Michigan players fall down in the secondary.
Ross has checked in as the running back. Lydell Ross, number 30. And there was a whistle blown and a penalty has been called.
Only the second of the game. Illegal procedure by Michigan, we remember earlier.
Prior to the snap, false start, 80 offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, it's time for this week's Aflac trivia question. And students of this great rivalry and all of you sports fans out there, who had the better record in the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry? Bo Schembechler or Woody Hayes? The best percentage of those two coaches. What would you think? We'll have the answer here in a little bit. First down after the penalty. Troy Smith back in that shotgun, although Ross is right alongside of him. There's the fake to Ross. And he throws, caught down low by the speedster on a cut looking daylight. And he is brought down, a touchdown saving tackle by Ryan Mundy. But it is 42 yards for Ted Ginn.
We've been talking about Ginn all week, about what he brings to the football field. Ted Ginn, you know, there's things that are fast, and then there's some things that are faster. Right now, the fastest thing going is number 7, Teddy Ginn. You know, he's got savvy too. The guy knows how to play football. You mentioned his dad was his high school coach. He played quarterback. He's comfortable on the football field.
Split out to the right. He'll someday be a two-way player here. He's an outstanding defensive back prospect. Smith with a great play fake. And another first and goal coming up is Ryan Hamby, the junior from Cincinnati. Goes 20 yards from Troy Smith.
Well, Jim Tressel's on fire calling plays. Watch this. This is everyone going one direction and the tight end going the opposite direction. The same play that Purdue used. See the tight end fall down? Same play that Kyle Orton hit Ohio State to win the game last week is the one Jim Tressel says, let's dial that one up. That's a good play.
Now it is first and goal. Joe is back into the backfield for the Buckeyes. Here's Joe, short of the end zone. And it will be second down and goal.
Troy Smith, 6 for 8. Running the ball all over the football field. He's done it. He's rushed the ball 8 times for 42 yards. He's 6 for 8 in passing. He has over 200 yards in total offense in the first half, and he hasn't made a mental mistake yet, except for jumping on his own shuffle pass. Remember that was his only mental mistake.
Yep. Having a pretty good ball game, and you can see him over on the sideline with Tressel taking the moments to get the play directly from the coach and then bringing it into the huddle.
Unbalanced line to the right.
In the fullback, they hand it off instead of waiting for Joe, but the Wolverine front, their goal line defense, certainly was ready for that play.
Deontay Johnson, the true freshman, Pepper Johnson's son. We all remember Pepper in at fullback that time. Another one of those 6 true freshmen that are getting time in this Buckeye defense and offense this year. Those recruiting classes of Tressel that have been ranked so high are starting to pay off.
Now third and goal, and having Smith as your quarterback is a bit of a luxury. Such a fine runner. Johnson is set right in front of Joe. Now they offset Johnson, and the Wolverines adjust. Van Alstyne moves over here, looking to pass, does, but short of the end zone, and that's because Ernest Shazer makes the play on the fullback, number 25, who's as big as a linebacker, and it's fourth and goal. Decision time for Tressel. The crowd, of course, wants him to go for the touchdown in this situation. Tressel's going to go for it. He's over there talking to Troy Smith. The play call is made. The crowd is delighted that they're not going to settle for a field goal. What's your feeling about this decision, Gary?
Barry Alvarez is calling right now saying kick the field goal.
Wisconsin, of course, can still wind up in Pasadena if the Buckeyes win this game and if the Badgers beat Iowa later today. So that's why he would be rooting for the Buckeyes to take a lead, and a timeout has been called. We'll take a break. Ohio State threatening. We're tied at 14. Well, big Gabe Watson, number 78, the junior, anchoring the middle of this goal line defense, and he has been a load to handle. And now it is fourth down and goal. Score is tied. Schnitker and Joe. Schnitker comes out of the backfield. Smith rolls to the right. Incomplete. Marlon Jackson all over Holmes that time. He ate him up on the goal line, and it's a tremendous goal line stand by the Wolverines as the All-American corner Marlon Jackson comes up big.
Just too big of a gamble. You proved it on first, second, and third down. You can't punch it in. Now you show your team. You see Brandon Joe missed on Lamar Woodley, and then Marlon Jackson does a great job. There's no space. There's no reason for Marlon Jackson to back up, and that is a huge stop in this football game for Michigan.
There is no reason to pass up Mike Nugent, who is automatic down there, and take a lead in a rivalry game. Gary, I agree with you completely. Now Michigan, can they match Ohio State and go 99 yards? The Buckeyes did earlier in this game. Certainly not that time. They jumped Mike Hart. Nothing doing. All right, earlier we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Who had the better record in the rivalry, Bo or Woody? And here's your answer, folks. Woody Hayes, 58.9%, and Bo 54.7%. Now head-to-head, Bo had a 5-4-1 edge on Woody, but when you look at their overall performance in this great rivalry, Woody had the best record.
You want me to write that on there just in case Bo doesn't have the sound up? He might fall through the easy chair back home.
He'd call his friend Keith Jackson to get that update out of the West Coast. Here's a handoff to Hart for another yard. Let's ask Jack about the mood down below with the Buckeyes.
Well, Brent, you would think after being stopped in that 4th and goal that maybe they'd be a bit deflated, but that's not so with the Buckeyes. In fact, for the last 5 or 6 minutes, they've been talking amongst each other, and they really are beginning to believe that not only are they in this game, but that they can win this game. It's a very jubilant team that is exhorting their crowd here at the Buckeye Stadium at the Horseshoe to get into this game and hold on this down.
And Jack, the passing personnel on the field for Henne and the Wolverines. Edwards comes in motion. This is 3rd down. Henne from his own end zone fires incomplete. And Avant, the intended receiver, and Ashton Ubodi was the cornerback, and there was miscommunication there.
Actually, Brett, I think he was trying to throw it to Braylon Edwards, who broke off his route again. A miscommunication is exactly what happened. Chad Henne thought Braylon was going to keep coming across. Braylon stopped, and nothing happened.
This is dangerous. Finley backed up near that end line.
Yeah, two chances.
Awaits from the 40-yard line.
2 chances, a block or Ginn running the football.
This brings the Gunners in tight to protect. So Ginn looking for a return. They give him time from the 45. Left alley. And he'll just step out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Well, it is time now for the Pacific Life game summary. We've had 4 touchdowns. This was number 1, and that came on a 3rd and 12. Then Avant from Henne tied it. Michael Hart going in, and then the 99-yard touchdown drive with Troy Smith scoring. And now Smith and the Buckeyes with an excellent opportunity, and 6:46 left in the half.
I think, Brent, Ohio State missed another opportunity on that punt. I believe they only had 10 men on the field. We're going to check it. That was a scoring opportunity for Ohio State.
Here comes Joe.
He's down.
To the 30-yard line. A couple of yards on 1st and 10.
Let's go back.
Massey.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is 10 Ginn. There was only 1 guy back. So on an opportunity to block a punt, when they should have rushed 10, they only rushed 9. The little things.
And they do add up, don't they, Gary?
Sure
they become
do.
big things as a game like this moves along.
You miss 3 points down there, and you don't have enough guys when you go for the block.
Troy Smith, he's back in the shotgun with Joe and Ginn off to the right. Firing to Ginn again. And he is to the 25-yard line. So,
you okay?
Almost stepped off the back of the deal here, my friend. Good catch by you.
That's right.
Gary, all the offense we've had so far, does it surprise you?
Oh, of course. I mean, anytime you put close to 400 yards in a first half in a Michigan-Ohio State game, we talked in the open about the 2 quarterbacks. Could they come through? Both have played very well in this football game. The mistakes that have been being made has not been about the young quarterbacks.
Yeah, and you think that Tressel should have kicked the field goal?
Oh, of course. You know, especially after he didn't make it. No, in fairness, we both thought he should have kicked the 3-point.
Third down. Here is Smith. And they want to wave it off at the 15-yard line. Gonzalez going down for the ball, has got it.
All the officials looked at each other on that one.
They sure did.
None of them had a clear look at it, so they're going to let the replay official handle it. I guarantee you, none of them wanted to call it incomplete, and that clearly is a catch. They all looked. They did look at each other. Am I right, Brett?
Absolutely.
I mean, no one singled catch. Michigan's going to have to take a timeout. They are totally confused here, aren't they? They do take a timeout. They had too many men on the field in the wrong substitution group.
So we will take a break. 14 all, Michigan and Ohio State. Welcome back to the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT. Michigan needs a win to earn a berth in the Rose Bowl. They could still get there with a loss, of course, but then they would have to count on Iowa to beat Wisconsin later today. Jim Tressel and the Buckeyes, an underdog against Lloyd Carr and the Wolverines here, and Michigan has used its final timeout.
Yeah, dual reason for that timeout. Michigan was discombobulated on defense, but I think Lloyd wanted to give that replay official a little more time to make sure that that ball didn't skip. We can assure the Michigan fans that it didn't.
Lydell Ross is off to Smith's right. Can't find a receiver open, so Smith will take off, looking end zone, stumbles, and he's down short of it at the 1-yard line. McClintock was the defender there for the Wolverines.
What a game. What a game Troy Smith is having, huh, Brent? We saw him against Penn State, but we remember just 3-4 minutes ago they were down here and they ran 3 plays and came up empty, decided to go on 4th down and got nothing out of it.
Of course, by leaving the ball down there at the 1 and then stopping Michigan and getting excellent field position, in effect, they're coming right back and they get a fresh chance off that battle of field position. So leaving Michigan down there was not the worst thing. And the running back just cannot get any traction against the middle of that defense. Harrison was in there. Joe just couldn't get going into that hole.
Oh, big Gabe Watson here again. He has just been controlling this. Look at this. Comes right over the block this time, crawls over him, and gets him in the backfield. Nick Mangold could not handle 78 last time, and he hasn't handled number 78 this time. Let's see, this is play number 6 from inside the 3-yard line.
Smith dives back on it with Ross. Ross left it on the ground, and now it will be play 7 inside the 5. It'll be 3rd down and goal.
Well, this is how you historical type defense. When you have goal line stands like this, a late shift, you can see Lydell Ross went and tried to reach for the ball that time, did not get a firm belly handoff from Troy Smith, the quarterback, and that's why that ball went on the ground. Of course, Lydell Smith had that fumble against Michigan State and cost them playing time in the next game against Lydell Ross right there, number 30.
Backfield is empty.
3-man rush. Watch the quarterback draw. This is the guy that's got to stop it.
Reed is looking in on him. Smith going to take off. It is now 4th down.
He'll kick it this time.
And Prescott Burgess, the defender for the Wolverines.
Well, if Michigan goes to the Rose Bowl and wins this game, this was not a called quarterback draw. He was trying to throw the ball to the right side. Nothing was there. Great defense again by Michigan, who stayed in a zone and kept everybody looking at Troy Smith. And if Michigan survives and win this game, those 7 plays by the Michigan defense will be what really did it for them.
21-yard field goal attempt for Mike Nugent, leading candidate for this year's Grozo Award as the top field goal specialist in college football. In the game earlier, he pulled this one badly, but he made it.
Wow.
It was from the right hash, and he slipped it through. This is a young man who has a terrific future with the NFL because he takes his kickoffs with or without wind deep into the end zone. Buckeyes lead it again.
This rivalry has so many great moments. I asked the Buckeyes which one characterized it the best. Let's go back to 2001 up at the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan. It was this man, Jonathan Wells, scoring 3 TDs, and it allowed the Buckeyes to win 26-20, their first win on the road in this rivalry since 1987.
And you look down on the packed house here, and Nugent putting the ball on the tee. Mason and Bruston will be back deep for the Wolverines.
And of course, that was Jim Tressel's first game in this tilt between Michigan and Ohio State, where he almost guaranteed that Ohio State would make the state of Ohio proud in football again, and he went down and knocked off Michigan, so you can understand why that game stands out. Man, does he
There's that kickoff.
Holy cow.
Completely out of the end zone. Well, good college football coming your way on ESPN2 and ESPN tonight. 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Utah, can they make it all the way to the Fiesta Bowl or the Sugar? We'll find out tonight.
Look at that number 6 right there. That's the key number.
Florida State. That'll be at 7:45 Eastern on ESPN over in Tallahassee. Ron Zook finishing up his career down with the Gators. And we mentioned Utah, and a lot of talk down in the state of Florida that Urban Meyer of Utah will be coming down to Gainesville next year to coach the Gators. Steve Spurrier seems headed now for South Carolina. Lou Holtz with his last game today in the regular season. This is Braylon Edwards for Michigan, short of the 30-yard line, so it will be 2nd down and short as Henney hits Braylon Edwards. We have 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. Michigan trails it by 3. They are out of timeouts. In the college game, you stop the clock on a 1st down. Henney and the Wolverines with a ton of time, dangerous wideouts, and a running back who can pick up a 1st down like Hart does right there to the 34. Coming up on the Capital One halftime show, John Craig and Aaron will have highlights and scores from all the big games unfolding. Tell you what we've got coming your way on ABC Sports a little bit later today. 1st down and 10.
Ohio State is staying in a soft zone.
And he throws it up and deep. Braylon jump ball juggled, incomplete. He was step for step with you, Bodie, and all of that, John. And Ron Artest now with plenty of time on his hands to promote that rap album. Incomplete.
Chad Henne got hit that time just as he let the ball go by Kudla. That's what drove it off target. Mike Kudla comes around the end and makes a play to keep that ball being thrown just a little bit too outside. Stedovich just did not handle Kudla.
Cannot believe that an intelligent professional athlete would charge into the stands like he did last night. I still shake my head in disbelief. 3rd down and 10 coming up.
Unless it's hockey, I guess.
Here's Henne, sets the screen high with the pass to Hart and incomplete. So it will be a 4th down, and it is the Buckeyes who will handle the ball here in the closing minute 21 of the opening half. As you look down on the horseshoe here in Columbus, our aerial coverage courtesy of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company and its fleet of airships, reminding you to travel with peace of mind on Goodyear's new Assurance tires.
And remember, Ohio State has all 3 timeouts left and a field goal kicker that's 8 for 9 from over 50 yards.
Got the single safety back.
And 11 men out there.
Under pressure, gets it off, and here is Ginn from the 22-yard line. Swings to the outside and has his legs taken out from underneath him at the 30-yard line as Thompson comes down. Let us take you back to this moment in time. Needing it. And up with it comes Thompson, who has just come down the field, and he took Ginn's legs right out from under him. And the Buckeyes are 70 yards away with 1:11 remaining. They have their timeouts. They set the screen, and it is Lydell Ross who makes it to the 37-yard line of
Michigan,
McClintock.
Ohio State, I'm surprised they're not taking a timeout Timeouts are right now are preferable than trying to save them. They going to get it after a first down. I think this is bad strategy right here. They should have used the timeout.
Here's Smith. He'll take off. He'll run for the first down. Midfield. Spins to the 45-yard line. Clock stops. Mundy makes a stop. 18 more yards. They've got 31 seconds. They've got their timeouts to work with.
Smith is now approaching, and it's a good timeout to give him a breather. He's approaching 281 yards of total offense in the first half. Look at that. 75 yards rushing, 206 yards passing, and has his team in position to get into field goal range for Mike Nugent again.
Well, you talk to Troy Smith, and he talks about his best asset.
I would have to say my ability to make plays. You know, when something breaks down or when things aren't going the way that it's drawn up and designed, you know, the ability to go and really make something happen.
And he has made things happen here today. Now, across the way, Lloyd Carr, one-time defensive coordinator of the Wolverines, has stepped into that huddle and delivering the message as to just how important this stop can be at the end of the half. Because remember, the Buckeyes are armed with Mike Nugent, and he's kicked 55-yard field goals twice this year.
So they need
once against Marshall as time ran out to win it, and the second time against Wisconsin.
They need to get to the blue line, obviously, the 38-yard line, for that to happen. 7 yards back from 38 puts them at the 45. So they need about 7 more yards to get into Nugent's longest field goal range.
Here's Smith, deflected, incomplete.
I'll tell you, Michigan challenged Ohio State that time. They had Marcus Curry, number 30, man-to-man bump and run on Ted Ginn all over the football field. Troy Smith tried to go over the middle. You can see it to Hall, Roy Hall, but it was deflected and almost intercepted. I thought that on first down right there, and Ohio State could have took a chance to throw the ball deep with bump and run coverage.
Second and 10.
Jackson and Santonio Holmes to the bottom.
Low snap, flag on the play.
That might have been delay a game that time. Not too much time on the clock. Play clock go off.
They'll tell us.
Delay a game. Offense. Charge to number 10 on the Ohio State. Clock operator, please reset to 27.
Jack, Nugent is a very loose.
Oh, he is calm, cool, and collected. In fact, I asked him, how much deeper do you want this team to go? He says, put me out there right now, Jack. I can kick it from here. He did do a 60-yarder in practice in preseason.
He was warming up with 60 yards with the wind at his back, too. And Smith knows he needs to give him a few yards. That one incomplete for Ginn on the near side. 23 seconds to go here, and it's third down.
Sure changed the strategy of this drive with the 5-yard penalty. Needing 12 yards instead of 7 yards has really allowed Michigan to play zone defense and rush 4 people on the inside. And that really, Pierre Woods that time really got into Troy Smith. I agree with Jack right here, Brent. I think a quarterback draw or something for 5 yards and let Nugent had a chance for it. 60 yards, he might make it the way he's kicking today. Look at this I formation.
And Ginn motions through it. Smith on the move, fires high, got it, Ginn out of bounds, across the 25. That could be a 3-point play right there with 16 seconds. It's a 26-yard gain. Smith to Ginn.
You watch Troy Smith's action on this throw on the run. Off his foot, it'll be his right foot as he lets that ball go. Look, coverage is right here. Ball has to be thrown up high. Curry right over his outstretched fingertip. That is a quarterback that's confident throwing the ball on the run. What a play.
Let's see how the Buckeyes elect to handle the final 16 seconds. 2 timeouts left. They're over on the right hash. They could move more to the center for Nugent. They can take a shot. They can do a lot of things in this situation. And from the gun, Smith fires high and incomplete. The one thing they don't want to do, of course, is turn it over. That was good coverage that time. And Curry was coming across with Ginn, and so he just threw it high.
Right. 2 things Troy Smith has to be really confident of now is I'm not going to take a sack, and I'm not going to throw into coverage. I mean, an interception could happen, but I'm going to make sure I throw to one-on-one coverage, and I'm going to get rid of the ball. I still think the strategy right now with 2 timeouts is they can take 1 shot at the end zone, but then they should put it in position for Nugent to kick 3 more points on that board.
The interception is the more costly of those 2, Gary. I'm sure you would agree.
Right.
Even if you take a 7-yard sack loss and get a quick timeout here, you do not want to turn it over. 2nd down. Low snap again. Smith.
Oh, that's going to be intentional grounding.
He threw it away. No receiver over there.
Must have got outside the box.
He was moving to the right, and they ruled that he was outside. And so now Nugent will trot onto the field here with 4 seconds left in the first half.
Remember Massey, number 94. He's 6'7", and he had a blocked field goal at the end of the half against Northwestern. Had turned it around a bit for Michigan.
It is 2 huge 3rd down plays for the Buckeyes. Early on, when they faced a 3rd and 12, they went 68 yards for a touchdown. Here, with time running down, a 3rd and 15 sets up this 42-yard attempt from the right hash by Nugent, and for him, it's a chip shot. What a luxury in a game like this. The Buckeyes and the Wolverines cross at midfield, and Ohio State leads it. Let's go to Jack.
Coach, so many times this season your team has found yourself going into halftime behind. What is the magic you work in the locker room?
Well, we'll see, but thank God it's not just a 30-minute game.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Jack.
That has indeed been the MO of this Michigan football team, but they're going to have to handle number 7 again. Will Braylon have an answer? A very well played, clean football game. There has not yet been a single turnover in this game, and there have only been 3, count them, 3 penalties. However, Garrett, there is something that's really out of whack, my friend.
That's for sure. Ohio State offense. Look at that. Last in the Big Ten, 108th in the nation. Puts up 337 first half yards. But you know what, Brent? I don't know what the standings are in the Big Ten for first half scores.
Exactly.
Does not make any difference, right?
Exactly. And it's going to come down to a battle of these 2 quarterbacks. Troy Smith, he's above expectations right now, and Chad Henne just level. But remember, Michigan has been a second half team, and so Ohio State's certainly aware of that as the Wolverines get the ball to start the second half.
But you can only play with fire so many times if you're Michigan, thinking you can come from behind. You wonder, they've done it all year. Can they do it again?
Exactly, Gary, as Nugent drives it into the wind, about 3 yards deep, and the Wolverines will come out and they'll put it in play at around the 20-yard line. Jack, I know you had a chat with Jim Tressel. What did he have to say?
Well, in the locker room, Brent, he told me he went up to the blackboard and he put 2 8s, 88 up on the board, and gathered his team around and said, gentlemen, that's how many points this team, Michigan, has scored in the 3rd quarter. He challenged his team to hold them almost scoreless in the 3rd quarter. He said, one thing I can assure you, Jack, no one's going to quit in this game.
You know, Jack, in that opening drive of the second half in Ann Arbor a week ago against Northwestern, they simply saddled up this offensive line and drove it for a touchdown. The Buckeyes off the blitz, Hart steps to the hole, still can't find much doing. Frazier helped blow up the play over there, and he got perhaps a yard, and it'll be 2nd down and 9.
Well, Mark Snyder probably saw the same thing that you just said, Brent. He expected the run and came with a blitz from the secondary. There's the strong safety. Watch Dudley blow up Tyler Everett right there. But he said, if you're going to run the ball, you're going to be running it with my guy freed up, A.J. Hawk, right there because of a rush blitz. A great call by Mark Snyder, defensive coordinator.
On second down, Hart, the offset tailback. Quick and complete to Bruston. But it's still short of a first down by about 4 yards, and that will bring up a third down play.
See, I think all these little nickel dime throws that Chad Henne's throwing right now, they're working okay, but he needs to get into that 15, 18-yard throws over the middle of that field. The Ohio State linebackers have had trouble all year with misdirection, play-action passes. Michigan, where's your play-action passes? Where's those tight ends that they've been so effective in the past?
Henne on the blitz, going down at the 15-yard line. Dante Whitner, the sophomore from Cleveland, number 9.
Busted assignment. Number 32, Kevin Dudley. He had that outside guy. Watch Dudley. He's right here. He looks inside. Excuse me, the other was a guy in the backfield that time. He looked to the right side. The blitz came the other way. A sack. A huge pressure on Henne.
Loss of 11 yards puts pressure on Finley, and Ginn is back along with Santonio Holmes. The Buckeyes figure to open the second half with outstanding field position as Finley tries to hang it up in the air. Here is Ginn, driven back inside the 35, twists free, keeps his balance, cuts the daylight. One man to beat, and he's down at the 46-yard line as the ever-dangerous number 7 got tripped up by Darnell Hood, but he still returned a 51-yard punt, 20 yards.
Well, Darnell Hood right here saves a touchdown. Ginn, look at this athletic ability. If Darnell Hood doesn't grab the ankles and their long legs of Teddy Ginn, I'll give you that. But if he doesn't make this tackle, it's out the house. No one is going to catch Teddy Ginn if he gets by number 4.
Now Jim Trussell in the first half used Brandon Joe as his main running back, and again he checks him in alongside Troy Smith.
And Joe has done a great job blocking these guys for Michigan on pass plays.
Switches over to the right. Gonzalez comes through the formation for the Buckeyes. Here is Ginn. They set a screen to the right. He's going to come clear across the field. Steps out at midfield, and even when he gives ground of a couple of yards, it's exciting. Let me tell you, loss of a couple of yards on the play, but it was something. All right, Jack, this youngster, he could have some career.
Oh, Brent, we've seen balance now, and we've seen speed from Ted Ginn Jr. Here's where he got some of it. He's an outstanding track athlete, as we've said. In fact, as a prepster, he actually posted some of the best times that would have qualified him for the Olympics in 100-meter high hurdles. But the hurdle's a little lower than an international competition. And he said, I may go back and try for the Olympics, but right now, I just want to beat Michigan.
First things first, huh, Jack? And they come up now after giving up 3 yards. It'll be second down and 13. Joe alongside Smith. Hit on the release, incomplete, and the Wolverines brought pressure with big Lamar Woodley, the sophomore from Saginaw, rolling in.
Listen, everyone knows that these receivers on both teams are tough for anyone to cover. You put Braylon Edwards, Ted Ginn, and Santonio Holmes in the NFL, they're going to shake loose. That's how fast they are. The way to stop this passing game is just what we've seen so far. The first drive, Ohio State, get to the quarterback. Here, Michigan does the same thing. No more, I don't think. They're going to allow Troy Smith to sit back there and scramble when he wants and throw when he wants. You must attack the quarterback.
Marlon Jackson comes to the bottom of your screen against Santonio Holmes, bump and run on this third and long. Ginn comes into a short slot. Incomplete as he had cut back. and he had drawn the slot man's coverage that time. Leon Hall had jumped number 7, and Marlon Jackson went with Santonio, and it is 4th down.
Yeah, see, Troy Smith that time, his mental clock was sped up because of that sack. Instead of waiting that time for Ginn to get open, he threw early and actually misjudged it.
Here is our walk-on, Kyle Serrano from nearby Worthington. Average coming in 42.9. He has Bruston waiting this punt for the Wolverines. Fair catch at the 17-yard line. That's where Chad Henne and the Wolverines will have their second possession of the second half. They trail it by 6 points. Our Chevrolet Drive summary certainly tells you the story of this game. Michigan scoring on its first 2 possessions. Look at the number of plays they've had. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Only 5, and then they punt, and then 3 they lose 5. Unbelievable.
And only 14 yards total drive, and that was when they were trying the 2-minute offense. That's the longest they've driven since the first 2.
Run formation. Stretch with Hart. Tries to cut back the other way. Schlegel cleans it up at the 16-yard line, and Mike Kudlow, the defensive end, is there defensively. So the Buckeyes have jumped this running game, and Michael Hart, who has been sensational over the last 7 weeks, and he has been limited here today. In the first quarter, 43, and since then -2.
And that was 2 on that play. That's the first time in over 100. In 4 ball games, he's lost a yard.
4 down linemen for the Buckeyes. A base 4-3 look. Play fake Henne.
How many times did he throw that?
Complete. So it will be 3rd down and 10. And Braylon Edwards, another of the playmakers, being bottled up in this game. Only 47 yards for him, with Bobby Carpenter, the linebacker, dropping back. So now a storyline that figured to develop. The longer the Buckeyes could stay in it, their fans would join in the fray, and the more pressure that a freshman quarterback has to feel in his first matchup against Ohio State, and it is right here in Columbus. Henne. Here's Braylon Edwards. And he's short of the 30-yard line, but that's enough for a Michigan first down.
Nice job in the pocket, and finally Michigan's offensive line handled the 4-man rush from Ohio State. You see Braylon will come inside Massacoy, bump and run. They're double covering Braylon Edwards that time. They get Everett, the safety, on the inside route, the corner on the outside route. Big Braylon. So effective in this game.
Well, it was high school teammate of a couple of other pretty good Wolverines, Curry and Hood. Daddy, one-time running back at Michigan. Young man who has matured so much in the Lloyd Carr program. And again, the offensive line, but it finally gives ground, and Henne has to throw it away. For a moment, it looked like they were going to give him a lot of time, but then it broke down with Kudlow again. Oh, John, it's no excuse. That's unbelievable. Here's Henne now, firing, incomplete. Edwards, the intended target. Just to go back on what John showed, you would think that those youngsters, many of whom would have seen what happened last night in that disgraceful NBA game, that would have been aware of something like that.
You're right. You know, that's the first time in this football game that they've tried to throw Braylon an intermediate route. They've gone to him once deep, and all the rest have been on 5-yard little hitches. Why don't they try to find number 1 over the middle of that football field? Right in here is where you need to throw the ball. 12, 14 yards deep.
3rd down and 10. Henne fires the screen to Edwards. Edwards will not have a first down. The Buckeyes blow it up in the middle, and Mike Kudlow is really playing a football game here in the second half for the Buckeyes.
Now, I know, we talk a little bit about Chad Henne in the awe of this football game, as you'll see the outside screen right here. But I think this front line of Michigan isn't winning a lot of battles. That front 4 from Ohio State are winning at the line of scrimmage and making it tough. Henne has gotten hit on 3 of his last 5 throws.
Michigan again scoring the first 2 times they handled the football. But now, ever since, every drive has ended with a punt. Again, he thought Holmes was going to step over. Then he makes the catch on it. Again, swings free. Look out now. Can Finley get an angle? Down the sideline. Forget about it. This baby's over, this race. That's 82 yards on the return. And as we said at the top of this broadcast, he could be the most dangerous freshman in college football.
We talk about fast. We talked about faster. Braylon Edwards right there, not handling the punt coverage very well. A receiver did not break down, ran right by Teddy Ginn, and there's no way Finley was going to catch Teddy Ginn. That's the problem when you put those receivers on punt coverage. They're not used to breaking down and making tackles.
Now Nugent. Tax on the extra point. So Teddy Ginn, his 7th touchdown of the season and his 4th punt return for a score. 82 yards as Ted Ginn Jr. has put Michigan's Rose Bowl hopes in jeopardy. The ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the Hartford Mutual Funds, official corporate partner of the NCAA. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. BU, nothing's better, Dr. Pepper. Cadillac and the new STS with available performance, tuned all-wheel drive, breakthrough. And AOL for broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10. Well, I know a very proud father, football coach by the name of Ted Ginn. Not only does he have a son who has just taken it to the house with another punt return, but his quarterback, who he trained, Troy Smith, is doing a remarkable job. Now the Wolverines need Bruston and the rest of this team to come alive.
Now let me follow up a little bit with that Ted Ginn from Glenville High School. He's one game away, his high school team, from being in the state championship in Ohio to play mighty St. Ignatius here in Ohio. So, you know, he's retooling down there and rebuilding again. Look at that.
There's a happy young man.
And of course, all the Michigan players know Ted Ginn. He's been to their camp. In fact, Marlon Jackson said he helped recruit Ted Ginn to Michigan. So
but he said I didn't do a very good job.
That's exactly right.
Henney and the Wolverines. Massaquoi is off to his right. Henney on a hard roll right, puts it in Avant's hands right at that first down marker at the 29-yard line. Now let's take it to the performance track we set up at the top of the day. Advantage right now, Ginn, because of the return yardage, and he has scored the touchdown here, Gary.
Yeah, almost all the yardages. You know, he's got 87 yards in receiving. He set up that field goal at the end of the half. Remember the third down play? Even the reverse play when he lost yardage served notice to Michigan's defense. Don't you pursue on any play because I might come around the other way.
Carl Tabb is on the field with Avant, the two wideouts for the Wolverines right now. And they'll run Hart behind Dudley, and he is tackled from behind by Bobby Carpenter.
My number one key of this football game was to stop number 20. Ohio State had to put it in the hands of the quarterback, and Hart and Schlegel and A.J. Hawk, Carpenter. Those three linebackers have done the job, and they are winning. And the reason they're able to zero in is Michigan does not use play-action passes this year. Nothing to try to keep those linebackers off track with misdirection. I haven't seen a misdirection play so far in the game for Michigan.
Play fake by Henney. Buys good time and
is.
hits Edwards on it, and he is out of bounds at about the 48-yard line. Jermaine Gonzalez, one of the wideouts for the Wolverines. He's the motion man. Here's Hart behind the right side of the offensive line, and he battles his way to the 47-yard line. A good first down run by the freshman from Syracuse. Braylon Edwards brings the play. The personnel in now, and he replaces Gonzalez. Second down and 5. Massaquoi moves the strength of the formation over to the right side. Here comes the blitz. Henne hit on the release, almost intercepted, incomplete, and that was Simon Frazier who had a chance.
Big Simon Frazier. Right in his head, dropping on the play. You get that field blitz that had been working so well. I think it was Kudla, wasn't it, Brent? Number 57. Kudla's the guy who dropped. Frazier gets the sack and forces it, and Kudla's the one who drops it right there. Look at that. One defensive end puts a pressure, and Kudla, oh, Mikey.
A lot of time on this play call. Third down, and a timeout is going to be needed. Ohio State 27, Michigan 14. Michigan only 2 of 8 on third down today, and they face one right here.
And they've been 44% on the year. Tops in the Big Ten.
Under pressure again, incomplete. And it is the defensive front of Ohio State dominating this football game. That was Marcus Green getting penetration, a junior from Louisville, leading the charge that time, and they have forced another Wolverine punt.
They also brought Carpenter, number 42. I believe this is him, over to this side. He comes also, comes in there 42. They also brought 5 guys. They brought Hawk and Carpenter. 6-man rush on the play. Mark Snyder has turned up the heat.
Ted Ginn back with San Antonio. Braylon not coming down the field this time, and it is down inside the 5-yard line again, right at the 3. Well, let us look back at this date in history. November 20th, 1954. The great Howard Hopalong Cassidy, the Ohio State running back, who the next year would win the Heisman Trophy as Ohio State upsets Michigan 21-7. And of course, the number has been retired here. One of the Heisman Trophy winners, Archie Griffin. You think of him as the only 2-time winner who's here watching this game today, and Jason White making a charge on that honor himself down at Oklahoma. The big back, Joe pounds to the 15-yard line, and so the strategy to use Brandon Joe as the running back is really paying off, Gary. That's 12 more yards.
Well, Carl Tabb made a great play for Michigan. Double team on Big Gabe Watson. You can see Mangold come out on the middle linebacker. Great job by center Nick Mangold that time to help on the big guy up front and then squeeze off on the linebacker late. And Brandon Joe not only doing the tough running, but doing the tough blocking on pass protection.
Maurice Hall, the running back, gets the call this time, and nothing doing. He's down inside the 15-yard line.
It all goes back. Ryan Mundry, who had a hurt shoulder a week ago in that Northwestern game, looked like he popped it. He's going off the field, the starting free safety for Michigan. You can see him right there. But it all starts with stopping that running game, doesn't it? If you don't stop the running game, all of a sudden the play action, the sprint outs, the options, the deep balls are all available to you.
Second down. Troy Smith back in the shotgun. Positions again out to the right. He'll run in that direction, run to daylight, cut back. And he is down at the 23-yard line, short of the first down marker, and Van Alstyne makes the play for the Wolverines. And of course, time permitting, we'll have the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report with John, Craig, and Aaron, so stay tuned for highlights, and John will get you up to date with what's unfolding here across the country.
Jamar Adams, number 22, a freshman, is in for Mundry on this time. look to see Tressel can try to isolate somebody on the newest player on the field.
On this third down, 4 down linemen for Coach Herman and the Wolverines. Quarterback draw all the way. Got it. To the 34-yard line, and it's a first down. So we talked to young Smith about being a leader of this Buckeye offense.
As long as you go out there and you're a fierce competitor and you show your teammates that you're willing to give it up every snap, you know, every down, every time, you know, I'm pretty sure they'll follow you.
What's interesting is he started the season number 2 behind Justin Zwick. Zwick injured, gave Smith an opportunity, and he appears to be making the most of it. He is improving weekly here with Ohio State. And this is Pittman, the freshman, who is tripped up. And he is down at the 40-yard line. That was Lawrence Reed who tripped him up.
Remember earlier in the year, if you're watching Ohio State football, Troy Smith complained publicly when the Buckeyes were struggling on offense. He said, how come I'm not getting a shot? You know, I competed against Justin in the spring and in the fall. And, you know, okay, you chose Justin Smith to be the quarterback. He had first shot. But when things aren't going well, how come I don't get a shot? Now, Jim Tressel benched him for a week, didn't play him for a week, but eventually he got his shot.
27-14, Buckeyes with the lead. Pittman, the freshman, is jammed up. And this will be third down and about 3 or so to go here.
Well, I can tell you what, if I was calling plays, a little bit of play action with that freshman free safety. Adams, number 22, is real nosy. He wants to make a play. He wants to help his teammates. A little short play action pass and run number 7 or number 4 behind him might be just what a big play, another big play on third down for Ohio State. Michigan is going to use the 3-man defensive line on this 3rd and 2.5-yard play.
Pittman off to the right, so is Ginn. And whistled prior to the snap. So they take too much time, and that costs the Buckeye offense.
Delay game, offense, number 10. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
One of the main stories, Ted Ginn Jr. catching for 1 and then returning a punt. And that touchdown made it 27-14. Now the Buckeyes up with a third down, and after the penalty they now need 7 yards for the first down. Smith in trouble, spins away from it. 40, 45, 50, 35. Troy Smith emerging as the Buckeye leader with a 46-yard run as he spins away from trouble. Leon Hall finally gets the job done. Lloyd Carr and the Wolverines in a ton of trouble.
You can see Marlon Jackson's playing bump and run. These receivers run off. There's going to be a 7-man rush on this play, and the play is made by the quarterback. You can't play any better defense than this. Spins away from the defense. There's Marlon Jackson. He's got his man. All of a sudden he turns around and says, what is going on here? That puts Smith over 100 yards rushing at 140 yards.
Lydell Ross behind Schnitker. Shazer comes up. He's down at the 15-yard line, picking up 3 on that play, perhaps 4. Let's see where they finally spot it. Right on the 15. The umpire puts it down.
Now I can tell you right now, Ohio State, with what you would think a field goal in the bag with their kicker, 27-14, they would love to have a touchdown, but they're not going to give up a field goal try here. Jim Tressel is conservative by nature. He's not going to gamble here.
They have lined Ginn up as the I-back and Ross is the fullback. And they run Ross from the fullback spot to the 11-yard line. And the one thing that we have seen from the Buckeye coaching staff here today is a much more creative approach. New formations, new quarterback, And this coverage from above, courtesy of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, its fleet of airships, reminding you to travel with peace of mind on Goodyear's new Assurance tires. Gary, I'm very impressed since when we last saw the Buckeyes in person to what they have become now offensively.
And that credit has to go to Troy Smith. He and Teddy Ginn. Those two guys has made this morbid Big Ten offense into a very effective one.
Here's 3rd down and 4. Smith fires, touchdown, Holmes. What a beautiful delivery by Troy Smith, who was going to throw, pumped it, and then caught a cut by Santonio and hit him for the touchdown.
Great protection by the Ohio State line and a professional route by Santonio Holmes. You will not see a better route run by anybody in college football than when Holmes schooled Marlon Jackson on this play.
It's good.
Mike Nugent adds the extra point.
Watch this route. Marlon Jackson thinks it's going to be a fade. Goes up top. Santonio Holmes throws him out of the way, gets inside, and Troy Smith puts it right on the number 4. Look at that. Marlon tries to get physical, and Holmes throws him out of the way, and another long drive for the Buckeyes.
97 yards after going 99 earlier in the day. Jack Santonio Holmes getting it done too.
And Brady knew that this was going to be a breakout season, or at least a season of opportunity for him. He said he wanted to become the Buckeyes' go-to guy. So what did he do in the offseason? Every day he reported for 6 a.m. workouts to the weight room 4 times a week, in addition to his regular strength and conditioning schedule. There was only one problem with all of it, Brent. Somebody had to get up at 6 o'clock with him to let him in so that he could work out.
Yes, indeed. And workout he did. Fine football player. And folks, the name Maurice Clarett is suddenly becoming a distant memory here in Columbus, Ohio, as the underdog Buckeyes take a 34-14 lead over Michigan, a team that needs this win to advance to Pasadena and play in the Rose Bowl again. And what this does is it reopens the door for Wisconsin if they can hang on. There's a long way to go. Mason coming out. 15. And he is down at the 16-yard line. What a difference this fired up Buckeye defense has meant here today, as the freshman is now under severe pressure, and Hart short of the 20-yard line. Nate Sally, number 21.
See, what's happened now with that last touchdown by Ohio State is it's basically taken Michael Hart running game out of the football game now.
This is what he had accomplished coming in to this game. You can see the 3 consecutive weeks of 200 yards plus. But here today, he has been limited to 51 yards on 15 carries and 1 touchdown. So it should be wide open now for the Wolverines in their bid to come back. Preston to the 23-yard line and down, and that'll be short of a first down too. You can feel the intensity, Gary, of the Buckeye defense.
The Buckeye defense was known going into this year. Everybody talked about all the guys they lost. We all know that. They came back with linebackers, okay? The linebackers were to be the heart of this defense. What's happened now, though, is Michigan has not been able to affect them. They have dominated the game. Hawk and Carpenter and Schlegel and forced Michigan to throw all short passes. That's the quarterback in motion.
Direct snap to Preston, who's going to run it out of the shotgun, and look who tracked him down. Number 47, A.J. Hawk, got Preston as the Wolverines went to a direct snap to Preston on the play.
34-14. A.J. Hawk all over the football field. He had 20 tackles in a game against Wisconsin.
Here's the handoff to Hart. Struggles to the 39, and we come to the end of the third quarter. Michigan's Rose Bowl hopes could be up in the air. We'll find out after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Hey, hey.
Another chapter in a great rivalry unfolding here in Columbus. So many times in the years past, the favorites have run into trouble, as Michigan is doing right here. Now a 2nd down and 8 to start our fourth quarter. They trail it by 3 touchdowns. Hinney's going long once. Edwards got it. And it's a 1st down for the Wolverines at the 15-yard line. Pass interference, of course, was called also on the play, and Braylon just simply stuck right with it.
Kind of reminds you what happened with Braylon Edwards again the Michigan State game, where he turned the game around by going up against Michigan State and grabbing no plays in the fourth quarter.
So Whitner, one of the defenders.
Yeah, I think he was matched up on Fox, and then Whitner came across.
2 fouls on the play. Pass interference defense. That penalty is declined. Michigan takes the result of the play. 1st down. Following the play, dead ball. Late hit. Number 9 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic 1st down.
So the Wolverines are now within striking distance.
You can see it. Throw it up to Braylon Edwards. Plenty of cushion by Fox. The ball is slightly underthrown. Braylon catches it, gets thrown down, and you can see clearly Whitner comes in and puts his helmet, and that's the first major penalty of the football game.
First and goal from the 8-yard line. Three wides to Hinney's right. Intercepted at the goal line. Picked off by Ubodi. Ubodi to the 20-yard line as Chad Henne makes a freshman mistake.
Chad Henne, Brent, was late by a fraction of a second. He had Braylon open. He waited a 1/10 of a second too long, and Ubodi, who was covering the man in the flat, fell back and made the play. You'll see it.
On the return, we have an illegal block below the waist. Number 42. Half the distance, end of the run. 1st down, Ohio State.
This is the guy that intercepts it. Braylon's going to come right here. Watch what happens. Chad Henne has him, but he waits just a little bit too long. Now, if he throws that ball right in here right now, he's got a chance to get it. He waits another step, and Ubodi gets over, falls off. Watch him. Just a little bit too long, and that's what causes the interception.
The first turnover of this game occurs at 14-19, and this block is a cut block by Carpenter on Henne, and the Buckeyes and Troy Smith will try to eat up some time. A 3-touchdown advantage right now, and they'll come with the big backs that they have used much of the day. And Jack Ubodi up with the game's first turnover.
And I guess you could say that he's come a very, very long way to play, Brent. You know, he and his family had to flee the war-torn Liberian nation 16 years ago after the Civil War erupted in the West African area. He says that while he doesn't like to talk about his life in Liberia, he admits that it helps him to keep things in perspective.
Yes, that is for sure. Second down. Pittman, the freshman, in at running back. Swings over to the left. Here, Woods helped break up the play over there down at the 14-yard line.
You can see when Ohio State tries to run the standard I formation running plays against Michigan's fast pursuing defense, there's nothing there. When Ohio State opens it up and allows number 10 to make plays, all of a sudden Michigan's defense is vulnerable. Vulnerable to the tune of 439 yards.
Brandon Joe checks back into the Buckeye backfield. He'll be alongside Troy Smith.
And he has been doing a great job of pass blocking on both sides, the end of the line of scrimmage.
He picks up Woodley this time, but Woodley gets past him at the end as Smith stepped up in the pocket. Woodley came off the Brandon Joe block and made the stop.
Yeah, coverage sack that time. I think Joe did a nice job on him, but Lamar Woodley had to force it forward.
Now there's the Big Ten today, and Joe Paterno and Penn State deny Michigan State a possible bowl bid. They eliminate the Spartans from bowl consideration. Purdue puts 63 up on Indiana, and Northwestern comes from behind to beat Illinois. And then the big one will be Wisconsin and Iowa. And the Badgers, if the Buckeyes win this game, the Badgers will be playing for a spot in the Rose Bowl if they can win. Here is Bruston making the fair catch at the 39-yard line. So we'll take a break. Ohio State up by 3 touchdowns. Welcome back to the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT, and the spotlight squarely on Ohio State. 5.5-point underdog here today against Michigan. The Wolverines eyeing a spot at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. And now Henney and the Wolverines in deep trouble. Ecker is down at the 44-yard line on the pass from Henney, and Whitner over to make the defensive play. The defensive secondary for the Buckeyes beat up over the last few weeks. Healthier today than at any time, and Coach Tucker telling me before the game, I think we can hold up against these guys, but I'm not sure. And so far they indeed have held up. Henney incomplete, and there's the penalty flag, and it is thrown against Schlegel, the linebacker, who was a little bit too aggressive against the tight end.
Yeah, he had Ecker coming across, and again, I always call it just a bit of a panic when you're not comfortable playing in space, and Schlegel isn't as comfortable as Carpenter and A.J. Hawk. You can see him right there, number 51, on the right side of your screen. The tight end crosses him, and then he thinks he's going to lose him, so he grabs him clearly by the shirt right there. That's a good call, and that's pass interference. Now, Michigan was behind. All Michigan fans remember this. Ohio State fans also remember against Michigan State. 17 points late in that football game. They tied it up, but this time it's 20 points with 11.5 minutes to go.
Here's Hart, and he's down at the 49-yard line. All right, John, and that would be some story as Avant goes out of bounds, and it is 1st and 10. Dustin Fox working over there. The Wolverines, of course, will try to hurry things along now. The chains will move. It'll be spotted at about the 38. They've got 11 minutes to work with. They need to strike as quickly as they can. Edwards. His final Ohio State game is out to the left. Avant to the right. Deep drop by Henney. Has time. Has a man open. It's Braylon Edwards. Got him in the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan.
What a throw. Wow.
So Chad Henne quiets the crowd as he and Braylon Edwards hook up against corner Dustin Fox.
Preston goes down the middle to draw the safety. See the safety jumped on it? Chad Henne saw it, and look at Willie Mays right there. Braylon Edwards looks over his helmet, over backwards, and makes a catch on a perfect throw from Chad Henne. Braylon Edwards in 2002, 10 catches. Last year, 7 catches, 2 touchdowns, and today he comes back with 10 more.
Revis. And just like that, it is a 2-touchdown game as Braylon stays right with it. Little adjustment on the sight over to the left in the basket. Timeout. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Pacific Life, offering insurance, annuities, and investments. Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. Konica Minolta, the makers of Biz Hub. It's the hub of your business. And AOL for broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10. Down a couple of touchdowns now with 11 minutes. Nienberg to kick it off for the Wolverines. Going to be fielded and bobbled right there at the 1-yard line by Hall, who picks it back up. And he is brought down at the 15.
How about Northwestern? Their 4th overtime victory of the year. That's a new NCAA record.
They beat these Buckeyes in overtime. That was their first one this year. Troy Smith is out to the 16-yard line. Our Pacific Life game summary here today. Ted Ginn Jr. An 82-yard punt return for a touchdown. His 4th punt return touchdown of the season. And Smith on a spinner, setting up a touchdown. Santonio Holmes, and Troy Smith certainly has been the player of the match so far. And Gary, Ohio State does not want to become too conservative. There's an awful lot of time left.
In fact, I can't believe they're in the I formation right now. I don't think they can move the ball in the I formation, and they jump off sides. So they dropped the kickoff. They've jumped off sides. You can see the pressure is squarely on Ohio State now. And Brent, you keep saying it's 2 touchdowns. You're right.
Start.
Except remember,
the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Yeah, just remember, it's 13 points, not 14 points. So 2 touchdowns wins this football game for Michigan.
Exactly. Well, this is a record. Rex Kern held it. And Jim Tressel, he'll be making the decisions here. It is 2nd down, 13.
Really surprised they're going under center again.
Pittman is the running back. Troy Smith taking off. Big game. Was in there first, and then it was cleaned up by his buddy up front, Pat Massey. Massey, of course, from an interesting family. His brother played here for the Buckeyes. It's 34-21. There you see Pat.
Lamar Woodley also came around that corner again. He's becoming almost that part of the game, unblockable again. Highly recruited linebacker who's really finding his game. And when he gets Sims, number 77, one-on-one, he's thinking good that he can beat him around the corner. They almost have to have a back in there to chip and help on him. This matchup looks good for Michigan.
Quarterback draw. Woods in a foot race coming from behind, number 99. And Ohio State forced to punt as Pierre Woods does an excellent job. Number 99, and suddenly a huge lift for the Wolverines. 2 touchdowns, tack on those extra points, and they've got a 35-34 advantage here. 2-touchdown game for them.
And in dire straits against Michigan State was worse than this. They were backed up with much worse. They had to have an onside kick against Michigan State. So far, they still are very, very easily in this football game.
Looking for a play from Breston. Toronto's done an excellent job of punting so far. Booms it. Drives Breston way back. Bounces at the 21 on the first hop. Can't slip the first gunner. Could not get around from him. So the Wolverines take it over after a 71-yard punt. Known simply as Bo. Schembechler in the middle of many of these Ohio State wars. Once served on the coaching staff here at Ohio State. Then he put the show on the road when we went up to Michigan and rebuilt that program. Lloyd Carr has been able to continue it. Before him, of course, Coach Moeller was up there. 105,000 plus. And it is first down and 10. The Wolverines needing 2 touchdowns here in the final 7:51. Fires high, and Hawk defending, incomplete. A.J. Hawk is just one of those outstanding linebackers, and he plays with such great intensity. Just listen.
I think growing up, being a linebacker my whole life, it kind of gives you time to really grow into it and figure out what's the difference between being out of control and playing hard to the whistle.
7 tackles on the day, several passes defended. Second down and 10. Henney. Incomplete. Braylon Edwards working the sideline. Ubodi defending. Now, this has been the Henney quarter, the fourth quarter for the freshman. Remarkable, remarkable numbers. 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 3 fourth quarter comebacks, trying to make it number 4 here today. He has a 7:42 to work with, and he's coming up with a big third down. The Ohio State defense has held Michigan to 30% on third down here today. The Wolverines are only 3 of 10. They need to reach the 30-yard line. And he's straight back. He's got Massaquoi, but he might be a little bit short of it. He is. He just stepped out of bounds. And it is 4th down, and that is a very long 1 yard that they would have to go for here. Let's see what Carr is going to come up with. The offensive personnel is still on the field. Ecker brings the personnel call in from the sideline. Here we come. This is it. 4th down for the Wolverines. They got to have it.
You have to give the ball to number 20.
The Buckeyes will know that in the middle of the defense. It could be 20 against that front. They move to an odd front against it. And he's going to throw. Braylon Edwards dropped it. Buckeye football inside the 30-yard line.
It's been the history of Braylon Edwards to make the great catch and drop the easy one. Braylon Edwards only needed 1 yard for a first down, and he tried to turn it up and make more yards. Watch it. Comes in. He pushes off very cleanly. He's open. The ball's thrown. Eye level. Look at him turn his head and try to get more yards. Ohio State was basically conceding the first down, and all of a sudden, a drop ball.
12 men in the huddle. Penalty flag comes flying, and it was Ted Ginn Jr. who broke the huddle late.
We didn't get into the play yet. Illegal substitution. 12 men in the huddle, too long. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And Troy Smith, you could hear his voice in the microphone saying we had not had the play signaled in yet. And the problem was that they had already formed up the huddle before he had received the play from the sideline.
And the official has been warning them all game about the 12 men in the huddle. Ohio State has been doing it all game. By that time, they were in there too long. And that's an unfair advantage for the offense.
An outstanding job of officiating by this crew here today. The handoff is Brandon Joe pounds in, and Woodley, the Saginaw linebacker, coming over the top on him right there. And Ohio State now will attempt to work away at this clock. Up 34-21. 7:28 to go.
One more look at Braylon. Watch how he turns. Watch the stripes. He turns his head just as he's catching it. His momentum is going away from the football, and that's what caused the drop. Now, this guy has kept Michigan in so many games this year. He says, give me a 3 and out and let me have one more chance to do it.
Second down and long after the penalty. Pittman, the freshman running back, is in. 2 tight end formation for Tressel. a clock-eating formation. Pittman to the 30-yard line, not even back to the original line of scrimmage. So this will be 3rd down and long coming up.
Michigan uses another timeout.
Seven minutes and 24 seconds remain here in Columbus, Ohio, and Ohio State upsetting Michigan 34-21. Here in the second half, the electrifying freshman Ted Ginn Jr. 82 yards. Then Troy Smith hits Antonio Holmes for a touchdown pass, and Smith, the player of the match overall for the Buckeyes, the sophomore quarterback using Ginn as one of his receivers, is 13 of 22 for 241 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's also run today for 145 more yards. So Smith himself has put up 386 yards of offense here for the Buckeyes. And when the season started, he was the backup quarterback. Michigan, a win away from a Rose Bowl appearance. And now it appears as though they might have to await the outcome of the Wisconsin game. It'll be Smith in the pocket, incomplete. And they have also one of the great field goal specialists in the game, and here he comes, Nugent. And this is no small field goal attempt when you think of that score. Sitting on a 13, Michigan has been down 2 touchdowns, and this will put them beyond that. This will make them go for 2-point conversions all the way. And you can see just how good Nugent has been. His career statistics here. This is final game of the Horseshoe. 48 yards for him. Holds 18 records. It'll be put down at the 38-yard line.
It's gone.
Beautiful. Or as they might say in Dublin, brilliant. Jim Tressel and the Ohio State Buckeyes are weaving an upset here against Michigan. What a luxury. The senior on the right in his last Ohio State game, and the freshman on the left, knowing that there are a lot more battles up ahead. And Nugent, who has been whistling these kickoffs into the end zone with 7:15 to go. And it'll come out on the 20-yard line. Well, let's take a look at the BCS standings, brought to you by Allstate. Michigan, representing the Big Ten, should they lose this game, will fall dramatically. That will leave, if California beats Stanford, as the likely team to go to the Rose Bowl to play the Big Ten representative. Michigan, of course, still has a chance to get there, but it will depend on Iowa defeating Wisconsin. Utah needs to stay at least in the 6th spot for an automatic bid. Speculation has been that they would go down to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl and play as an unbeaten representative down there. Of course, we shall wait and see how that all unfolds in the weeks ahead. 1st down and 10 from the 20-yard line. And Henne with his wide receiving weapons out. Facing Hawk, trying to get there, who's picked up incomplete and defended by Ubodi. I'll tell you, Ubodi has been outstanding on the corner. Jerry, here's a look at the Dodge defensive playbook.
And here's Ubodi right here. He's got the coverage in the flat, but when Braylon Edwards comes across, he falls off and makes the key play maybe in the second half. Michigan's thinking points, get back in a football game, but at the last second he comes off of Avant and makes the interception on Henne's late throw to the wide side of the field.
We have dead ball, offsetting personal fouls. 67 on the offense, 94 on the defense. Those penalties offset. 2nd down.
I really like how Lavagna works a football game.
Well, Matt Lentz and Marcus Green have been fighting each other all game. They might as well do it before the snap this time. Yes, he's very clear and very demonstrative, isn't he?
Yes, he is, Greg. In charge. 2nd down and 10 for Henne. Clock 7:11. Complete using the tight end, Ecker. Ecker, of course, perhaps saved the Michigan season earlier with that great touchdown catch against Minnesota. One of the Henney comebacks. Time permitting, the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report. John, Craig, and Aaron will have highlights and scores from around the country. Another third down coming up. And Henney and the Wolverines are only 3 of 11 on third downs today. And now make it 4 of 12, and that's a first down at the 40-yard line using Avant, a 13-yard gain.
See, that's what you have to do on those big plays when you have to get the first down. Avant didn't try to make extra yards before he secured the ball, and he made the catch, put his body all around that ball to get the first down. Remember, no first downs, no timeouts left for Michigan.
Michigan linemen getting their spacing, throwing complete to Preston. And he is drilled at the 45-yard line. Bobby Carpenter, the linebacker, was back there, number 42, with coverage.
Anytime a ball is completed less than a first down, that's a win for the Ohio State's defense because the clock continues to run.
Coming down towards 6 minutes. And he rifles one complete. That's a first down across midfield, so the chains will move. Tyler Everett coverage, not allowing the Wolverines to turn it into a great big play.
Good job by both teams, able to substitute in the middle of the hurry-up offense. Ohio State gets in 2 defensive tackles, and Michigan gets in fresh wide receivers.
Henney going high and deep to Braylon Edwards. Edwards in the air, jump ball incomplete. Came down inside the 5-yard line and again came over on Ubodi.
How close did Braylon Edwards come to making this play? I've never seen anybody in college ball be able to go up and control his body, hand-eye coordinations on deep balls. Ubodi thinks he has it, and all of a sudden Braylon Edwards uses his 6'4" frame to almost make another one.
5:48 now, second down and 10. And he fires and hits a crossing Jermaine Gonzalez that time, short of the first down marker. A.J. Hawk again back there on coverage.
Ohio State came with a strong safety blitz that time, played zone behind it, trying to put pressure on Henney. Michigan and Henney did a good job.
Henney with 4 receivers. On third down, Hart steps over, slashes, got it to the 35. They move the chains.
Well, that was a brilliant run by Hart. I thought he was going to be tackled in the behind the line of scrimmage, and he slithered through again to not only stop the clock but get a big first down. That allows Braylon Edwards to get back on the field. He took a blow after that big deep pass to the outside. There's Braylon matched up.
Preston's a slot man. Henney. Braylon couldn't get up quite high enough on that one, and it'll be second down and 10.
I'll tell you what's there for Michigan is the out route to the outside to Braylon Edwards. They got inside technique and are having the safeties and linebackers look for Braylon over the middle. A little comeback to the outside or an out route to the outside is there for the wide receivers, either Avant or Braylon. Here it is again, same defense. Inside technique, out route is available.
Screen dropped by Hart. Third down coming up and 10.
There's Mark Snyder, the new defensive coordinator, this year's defensive coordinator. Mark D'Antonio went to Cincinnati, the architect of the national championship defense for Ohio State. There's this guy.
Got A.J. Hawk this year and next, number 47. Butkus finalist. Third down and 10. Wolverines 5 of 13. And that is well short of the first down. Not even half there to Braylon Edwards, and A.J. Hawk again defending one of those receivers in underneath as the secondary not letting anybody get deep on them. And these linebackers have really patrolled underneath, especially A.J. Hawk.
And smartly, too. He stopped and did not run through Braylon to get a pass interference. He let him catch the ball and then wrapped him up tightly with those arms to make it a 4th down play.
Here's your 4th down. Wolverines have to stick it inside the 25. And he in trouble. Incomplete. Ohio State football. 4:18 to go to complete the upset. Quinn Pitcock in on top of the quarterback.
Most of these routes that wide receivers run over the middle of the field have the possibility of stop and reading. I thought Braylon Edwards could have stopped in the middle right there and got the 1st down. He tried to get beyond. Once he tried to get beyond the linebacker, the rush got into Chad Henne, and there was nothing to do but lob the ball to the outside.
Brandon Joe, who has done so very well for Ohio State. 52 yards, checks in, gets the call, goes into the middle of that defense. And here's a look at a potential singular player of the week candidate from today's game. Troy Smith, 241 passing yards, 145 rushing yards, and DeVoe, text player to 64444 or log on to ESPN.com. And Troy Smith making a strong bid to be the college football player of the week.
Wow, what a job he did. And right now he's got to get in that huddle and remind his linemen, no penalties. Remind his running backs, secure the ball. They cannot anything but a turnover right now. Ohio State thinks they win this football. There it is, turnover. Excuse me, a penalty on that situation. You can't flinch.
Ball start. 88 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Well, we have our mad move of the week, and whenever we come to Columbus, Ohio, no question what we're going to do. We're going to dot the I. Brian Thompson from Loveland, Ohio. Dotting the I, and then have an upset like this. They'll bring him back a couple years from now. Some long faces over there, of course, still with a chance to get to Pasadena. And even if Wisconsin ends that dream, they'll wind up with perhaps in Orlando or Tampa. Michigan will certainly wind up in Florida for one of the 2 Big Ten appearances down there in those 2 bowls.
Well, my job is always to try to figure out how these games will fall, and it's hard. I got to tell you, it's hard. But I thought Hart was #1. If Michigan was able to run Hart, they would be able to control the game. They stopped them. They pressured Chad Henne, and look at what Ohio State did on 3rd down. Converted 4 out of 7. They were last in the Big Ten. Ohio State did everything they needed to do to win this football game.
Third down. And again, the Buckeyes are working on the clock. Yeah, the Tournament of Roses had some flowers here today to present in the locker room, and Brutus is saying, not in our house.
Well, it's not quite over, I guess. We did a crazy one in Clemson this year, didn't we? But this one, it would be a miracle. 2 scores.
Not to mention a couple of 2-point conversions.
4 miracles. It would take 4 miracles. Actually 5. It would take an onside kick, too. Oh, how about Jim Tressel, though?
This is a terrific coaching job.
4 games against Michigan, 3 victories. Twice from an underdog.
Early in the year, there were media folks in this town trying for his head as the offensive coordinator. I wonder what they think of the job he has done here today with this young Ohio State team. A minute and a half to go, and the Buckeyes will have upset Michigan and denied them an automatic berth in the Rose Bowl. That means that Wisconsin can earn a trip to Pasadena with a win over Iowa. That game soon to start in Iowa City. It will not be easy. Coach Ferentz and the Hawkeyes have come alive, and should Iowa beat Wisconsin, then Michigan will go to the Rose Bowl despite losing in here today. Now, the Big Ten today shows you that Joe Paterno, and who knows what the situation is in there, that the Nittany Lions finally explode against Michigan State and win it 37-13. Purdue with a big win. Northwestern a victory over Hawaii away from a bowl bid. Michigan State will not go to the bowl.
Michigan State lost 2 quarterbacks today, Drew Stanton and Damon Dowdell.
And the players on the Ohio State sideline feeling it here as Lloyd Carr wants an explanation with a minute and a half to go on the far side. The Buckeyes will punt it away.
Lloyd wanted to question, I'm sure, the clock, the position of 1:31 left in the game, and he was assured it's right.
The punt will go out of bounds with 1:24, and our standings will show you that the Wolverines will lose for the first time here today, and the Buckeyes will climb to 500 in the conference. Remember, they lost their first 3 games, and since then their only loss in the Big Ten was last week to Purdue, and the Buckeyes lost that one late when Kyle Orton came off the bench for Coach Joe Tiller and rallied the Boilermakers. But otherwise, the story that has eluded everyone here in the Big Ten is the fact that Tressel and his coaching staff have done a superb job of improving this football team as the season progressed. Henny caught by Massacoy, and of course it's incomplete. Ball is on the ground, so it's called incomplete at the 34-yard line.
And now Ohio State's future is very bright because they have reloaded. They lost 14 guys to the draft. They found a quarterback. They found 2 game breakers at wide receiver and a defense that's going to be now experienced coming back into the Big Ten a year from now. Ohio State primed for a great year next season.
Michigan will have young Henny back at the controls. Mike Hart, of course, the running back. He'll be joined by Grady, supposed to be an outstanding recruit coming in. The pass is complete to Ecker, and the Buckeyes keep him inbounds. Dante Whitner. And another thing is the way these defensive backs recovered as we approach the final 60 seconds of an upset. And you can see the goalposts. The only person overconfident in Columbus, well, the groundskeeper. He went down and greased the goalpost. And so the students will be sliding off, and the celebration is about to begin here in Columbus. Our Chevrolet players of the game. There's certainly no question about what Troy Smith has accomplished here today. We'll go with Chad Henne for the Wolverines, but Troy Smith's day cannot be overlooked. He threw for 241 yards, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. He ran for another 145, 1 touchdown, and he has certainly become the Buckeyes quarterback of the future ahead of Justin Zwick.
15-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic, first down.
And remember, we opened the game saying that it really was in the hands of these 2 quarterbacks today. In modern day football, you must be able to make plays from the quarterback position. We saw Michigan State today fall apart because they lost their quarterbacks. Ohio State finds one, and they beat a very good Michigan football team.
The Buckeyes, where will they go for a bowl? Well, perhaps San Antonio. And the Alamo Bowl. The city of San Antonio would dearly love to have Ohio State come down there and play. The Sun Bowl, El Paso also is hoping, but with this win here today, I dare say I think they're probably headed for San Antonio.
Well, they've never been there, and that'd be a great place for the Buckeye fans to go, and they go. The Buckeye fans go. So anybody that gets to Ohio State are going to be happy with them.
And they get them on an upbeat after a couple of weeks of controversy swirling around their former running back who helped them win the national championship a couple of years ago. Now they shake away some of the doom and gloom here with with a big upset over arch rival Michigan. They deny Michigan an automatic trip to the Rose Bowl, and they pound away with those linebackers. You can't say enough about Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, and Schlegel. They keyed that defense as Ohio State sat in that 4-3 all day, used the linebackers in underneath coverage, and the defensive backs did the rest deep. Ubodi with a big game. Sally returning from the injured list. It was a tremendous team effort here.
Watch Schlegel put the pressure. One of the linebackers, Carpenter, is the guy. The ball is high thrown, and he cleans it up right on Avant. Two linebackers making that play.
Final 35 seconds. 3rd down and 10 for Henne and the Wolverines. Far side, deep ball, incomplete, and it is 4th down, and Ashton Ubodi with still another play. I think the player of the match defensively for Ohio State would be Ubodi, with the key interception when the Wolverines were driving for what appeared to be a touchdown, or at the very least a field goal, making that pick, and he has covered Braylon Edwards very, very well.
I actually think the whole Ohio State defense was ready to play today. Their front four handled Michigan early in the first half. The linebackers have been dominating. They have come and been ready to play.
Here's Henne. Intercepted. Picked off by Nate Sally. The safety with the 2nd interception here today. And the celebration here in Columbus will begin in 24 seconds. They'll go into the victory formation. They've already doused the coach on the sideline. Like Jim Trussell told Jack Arute at the top of the show, yes, there's been a controversy, and yes, we feel badly about what's happened, but it is very, very hard to look past the Michigan football game, and they certainly did not do that today, as Nate Sally comes up with that interception, and the flags come flying. Gary.
Yeah, they got 12 men on the field.
Institution, 12 men on the field offense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
And the reason is Jim Tressel's trying to get one of his scout team seniors out there for one play in the Michigan-Ohio State game. And so someone didn't get it, just even for victory formation, one guy to stay out there one play, and that's what happened.
There's your victory formation, and the celebration can begin. The Ohio State Buckeyes upset the Michigan Wolverines 37-21. The scene from above here as you look down on it. A beloved football team. There's Ted Ginn Jr. with that spectacular punt return for a touchdown.
I actually believe I saw Ted Ginn Sr. down there hugging Troy Smith down on the field.
Let's check in with Jack.
Coach, congratulations.
That was a good one. Our kids played hard. Michigan's a good football team, and our kids came out from the first snap, and they got after them.
Looked to me like your offense has changed considerably. Did you save some things for this game?
No. There's been an evolution. There's no question. We got young kids. The whole key was we didn't turn it over, and last few times we have.
At halftime, you told me 88 is what you put on the board to remind people of the points Michigan scored in the 3rd quarter.
Great 3rd quarter team, and I thought if we could get through the 3rd, we had a chance.
Well, go sing with your team now.
Do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Jack. Thank you. And the Buckeyes have done it. ABC Sports Online at ESPN.com. Search ABC Sports. Again, it'll be Monday night. Kansas City. The Chiefs will host the New England Patriots. Once again, our final score here, 37-21. For Gary and Jack, I'm Brett Musburger. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports Championship Television. So long, everybody.
OSU Michigan Replay has been brought to you by Germain Motor Company, Sky Bank,
the Ohio State Arthur James Cancer Hospital and SoLove Research Institute, and your local Chevy dealers.